And here is the recipe you have all been waiting for, a gorgeous homemade pasty. When I started my weight loss journey, I promised myself that I wouldn't restrict the foods that I love. And I'm so thankful to my husband for being my biggest support and making healthier versions of the foods that I love. This pasty is not made from your normal high calorie pastry, a wrap or an omelette, as you have all been guessing. Any more guesses before I say how he made this? This is actually using one healthy bee choice. There's nothing more perfect than the gorgeous ready break. Trust the process, guys. Trust the process. I think I need to do a series on how many things we can make using ready break. I really do. This is the first time Winnow made this, so it is trial and error, but it came out absolutely gorgeous. So he weighed 80 grams of ready break and blitzed this into a fine flour. Remember, 40 grams is one healthy bee choice. Winnow's top tip is if you sift this, it just becomes so much more nicer. We have certainly found this when we made our cakes. Obviously, usually ready break is used for something sweet, so just season this with some spices or seasonings, but today he just used salt and pepper. How else do people make pastry? They use butter, but we are using seriously lighter as our butter alternative. And of course use water, but he went in with 55 grams, which is one healthy A choice, or per 25 grams is 2.5 sins. If you wanted to sin this per pasty, it would be just over 2.5 sins each, or parts healthy A choice. He is adding some cold water, and I think he used about 4 to 5 tablespoons of this. You want to mix that into a bowl first, and then just knead it nicely on your work surface or breadboard as he is using. You're just putting this all together and kneading as he is doing to make a dough. So he's just putting this in foil, but clean film is absolutely fine also, and he refrigerated this for around 3 hours. This is a recipe that you can just use whatever filling you want, but again, this is just something that he came up with, and it's just using whatever ingredients I had in the fridge. So it was bacon, leeks, some sliced onions, some tomato puree, 2 teaspoons of garlic, and a little blob of ginger puree. I put my special requests in for a steak one and also a fruit pie that I can just have with some custard. Absolutely gorgeous. 3 hours were up and he took this from the fridge. It kind of expanded a little bit like so. Next, it's time to roll this out. So just put a little bit of flour on your work surface. We do not sin this. Half the dough into 2 portions and just flatten it out with a rolling pin until your desired shape, really. Rolled this out thinly and just got one of the kids' plates and cut around it to make his desired shape. Looking absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, he just filled this with the leek and bacon. I did tell him for the next one just to move the more meat around the edges, and then he just crimped this with a fork and popped on an oven tray. Second one came out a lot better. So yeah, he just filled this again with the filling and just popped it to the edges like so, and folded over. Of course, this would be perfect with one of your wraps, a pita bread, as all of you thought as well, and even an egg. But today we just used ready break and it turned out so perfect. Get that shiny topping. He is just coating it with egg wash, which is just an egg yolk. This went in the oven on 180 for 35 minutes and it's coming out looking like this. Absolutely. Look how amazing these look, especially the second one. Whenever Winnow comes up with an idea, I'm like, oh my goodness, is this going to work? But he always says to me, trust the process. I really did have to trust this one, and he delivered. It was absolutely beautiful. So per pasty comes in at 1 healthy B choice, and if you wanted to sin this, it would be 2.5 sins, or part healthy A choice using the cheese spread. I highly recommend you going and giving this a try. You are absolutely going to love it, and when you do, please let us know. Thanks for watching as always.